Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're a student gearing up for your mock workplace meeting assessment, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and walk through exactly how a realistic engineering meeting works, literally from beginning to end. We're going to break down the specific language, the structure, and the goals of a professional meeting so you can step into your assessment with absolute confidence. Okay, let's just dive right into it. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. Setting up the meeting. 2. Opening and stating purpose. 3. Interacting and discussing ideas. 4. Managing the meeting flow. 5. Making decisions and actions. And finally, 6. The final meeting recap.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, setting up the meeting.
Now, a successful meeting actually starts way before anyone even sits down at the table. You've got to keep this core chronological process in mind. It's basically a chain. We start with a problem, say a repeated CNC machine breakdown. Then we move into discussion, right, where we identify causes using real data. From there, we absolutely must reach a decision, choosing the most practical solution. And finally, we end with action, assigning the repair with a strict deadline. Problem, discussion, decision, action. If your meeting isn't following this exact chain, well, it's just not working.
And to actually move through that chain, a structured process requires specific roles and responsibilities. It's kind of like a sports team. You might be the chairperson who opens the meeting, controls the whole flow, and keeps everyone on track. The secretary is there to record the important points and action items. As a participant, your job is to prepare in advance and actively contribute ideas. Or you could be the technical expert, responsible for giving hard data and recommending solutions. Knowing your specific role, that's half the battle right there.
Good preparation also means writing a really clear invitation and, more importantly, an action-driven agenda. You know when you get a meeting invite and the agenda just lists vague words like machine or safety? Yeah, that's not helpful. Instead, use a simple formula: a verb plus a specific topic. So rather than a weak word like machine, say review recent machine breakdowns. Instead of just safety, write examine current safety procedures. This tells absolutely everyone exactly what action we are taking in the room.
Moving right along to Section 2, opening and stating purpose.
Okay, so now we transition into the actual meeting room. The chairperson has to call the meeting to order and immediately state the purpose. Why are we here? Are we here to solve problems, like figuring out the root cause of that machine breakdown? Are we here to share information, like maybe giving an update on a new hydraulic press? Or are we here to make decisions, like choosing a specific repair option? Setting this direction right out of the gate completely focuses the room.
Next up is Section 3, interacting and discussing ideas.
Once the meeting is officially open, we enter the discussion phase. This is where participants start contributing technical information and giving their opinions. And this right here is a massive concept for your assessment. You must connect your language to a specific communicative purpose. For instance, if you're a participant and you have critical technical data to share while someone else happens to be speaking, your purpose is that you need to add information. Therefore, your action is to interrupt politely.
Please, whatever you do, don't just speak louder to talk over your colleague. It doesn't work. Instead, acknowledge the speaker first using an apology and a request. You could just say, "Sorry to interrupt, but may I add something?" Or you can use a condition and an action, like, "If I may, I'd like to make a point." It's highly professional, it's respectful, and it's super effective.
Similarly, what happens when technical details get a bit complicated? See, someone mentions a tricky tolerance issue on the CNC machine and the technical information is totally unclear. Well, your purpose is to ask for clarification. Don't just sit there in silence. You can ask for general clarification by saying, "Could you explain that in more detail?" Or go for specific clarification. "What exactly do you mean by alignment issue?"
Let's look at another common purpose. What if you have a totally different view on how to actually fix the machine? In a workplace, your goal here is to disagree professionally. Take a second to remember this. How you disagree is literally just as important as why you disagree, especially when you're debating technical solutions.
You really want to avoid blunt, harsh phrases that instantly cause conflict. Things like, "You're wrong," or "No, that's not correct." Instead, use collaborative, professional phrasing. Try saying, "I see your point, but," or "I understand what you mean. However, perhaps we should consider another option." This keeps the whole environment productive and focused entirely on the problem, not the people.
All right, let's head into Section 4, managing the meeting flow.
Now, while participants are interacting and debating, it is the chairperson's absolute responsibility to protect the meeting's time. Conversations naturally drift off topic. It happens all the time. But when they do, the communicative purpose is to bring it back to the agenda. The chairperson has to step in, briefly acknowledge the point, and redirect the flow. You can say something like, "That's an interesting point, but let's come back to the agenda." Or, to directly refocus them, "Can we focus on the problem we are discussing?" This is an absolutely key skill for any chairperson to demonstrate.
Which brings us to Section 5, reaching decisions and actions. So after a thorough discussion, the team has to move to the resolution phase to turn all that talk into concrete outcomes. And the crucial takeaway here is this: a meeting cannot end with vague promises. You must never ever end a discussion by just saying, "Okay, we'll do something about it." No way. You have to use deciding phrases to force a firm group agreement on the best option. Use phrases like, "Let's decide on the best option," or "Can we agree to proceed with this option?" You want to get a clear verbal yes from the room.
Once that repair option is officially chosen, the decision has been made. Your immediate next purpose is to assign absolute accountability. We need action.
To do this, use a strict formula for assigning action items: what plus who plus when. Everyone in that room needs to know precisely what task is being done, who is the specific person responsible for it, and when the exact deadline is. For example, asking, "Who will be responsible for this?" and then clearly stating, "Let's set the deadline for Friday." Talk is cheap, right? This formula is what actually makes things happen.
And finally, Section 6, the final meeting recap. With the actions assigned, we reach the final stage, a professional closing and our little debrief for your upcoming assessment. When the meeting is ending, the chairperson must deliver the perfect closing summary. This means officially linking the decision to the specific person, their action, and the strict deadline before formally closing the session. For instance, to summarize, we've agreed to replace the damaged bearing. Fareed will contact the supplier by Wednesday. It leaves literally zero room for confusion.
Let's put the whole puzzle together to recap. This is the complete engineering meeting chain you need to master. First, you open and discuss. You state the purpose, give the info, and contribute your ideas. Next, you interact and manage. You interrupt politely and clarify information, all while the chairperson stays focused and keeps the discussion tightly on track. Finally, you decide, act, and summarize. You agree on the best option, remember your what plus who plus when, and wrap up with the decision, person, action, and deadline. This right here is exactly how you run a flawless meeting.
Keep this advice in your back pocket as you prepare. Before your mock meeting, please remember that you do not need to memorize an entire script. You just need to understand the function of each expression and use it appropriately during the meeting. Just match your language to the specific communicative purpose you need to achieve in that exact moment. You've totally got this.
So what is your next step? Watch, understand, practice, and participate. Review this whole process and make sure you understand the core purpose behind each phrase. Before your mock assessment, ask yourself, if a conversation completely derails, are you ready to be the one to step up and professionally redirect it? Or if technical data is super unclear, will you bravely ask for clarification? Good luck out there and go turn those workplace problems into concrete actions.